Greetings and Merry Christmas to you. It is again that time of the year when we ask to come into your home and share some images of our life this previous year. But unlike prior videos, we begin this one with some images from our celebration of last year's Christmas, which took place in Jamaica. Yes, fulfilling a long-held dream, Betty and I, together with John Kent, Jeffrey, and Heidi, flew to Jamaica to the beautiful Secrets Wild Orchid Resort to spend a week in the sun experiencing a Caribbean Christmas. Then later that year, Betty and I celebrated a very significant milestone. Yes, we celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary in March. And to celebrate that golden episode, we flew back to the Caribbean to spend a week at our favorite Caribbean resort, the Galley Bay Resort in Antigua. Here we spent a week savoring the view from our patio, basking around the wonderful pool, taking an occasional break for the gym, and then joining together in romantic meals by the oceanside dining venues. Then it was time to return to a more traditional pattern of life. Betty returning to the university to continue her path to achieving a degree, but taking time to join John Kent for a charity walk, and while he then returned to our beach house to spend as many hours on his boat, but taking an occasional opportunity to make new friends. Then, unfortunately, the Riegel lives took a turn for the worse. Our Jeffrey was having his front of his home repainted when, in the course of removing paint with a heat gun, the contractor started a fire, the end result of which is what you see here. Because of that, Jeffrey and Heidi had to vacate the premises and live in temporary housing, and though the fire occurred in March, as we prepare this in December, the restoration is only now beginning to be implemented. His insurer nationwide advertises about being on his side, but in this case they had difficulty in finding Jeffrey's side to begin the process. Then, reflecting the character of both Heidi and Jeffrey, making the best of the situation, they decorated their temporary housing for seasonal events, and Jeffrey even took an opportunity to display his sense of humor by horsing around at the office. Then, in an extraordinary demonstration of his character and ability to rise above tragedy, as well as his manifestation of a deeply felt love, our Jeffrey later that year took his Heidi for a walk on the beach where he proposed. We're delighted to tell you that Heidi has said yes, and now we look forward to a future that includes a wedding and the opportunity to welcome this lovely lady into our family. Now we'd like to turn to the second phase of the celebration of our 50th wedding anniversary. And there is a reason why we chose to celebrate this milestone event in two phases. To begin, as Betty and I approached our anniversary date in March, we recognized that the success of this marriage, which I have at many times referred to as one that only could have dreamt possible and thought only existed in fiction, was the result of the efforts and the characters of both Betty and myself. Our deep-seated love, our mutual respect, and all of those things that contributed to this wonderful 50 years of our marriage. So to begin, we wanted to celebrate this in a very intimate fashion with just the two of us, which we did by going to Antigua at Galley Bay for that wonderful week in March. Then we also recognized that our marriage in no small measure is the result of contributions by our family, not only our two sons, but our extended family, as well as a large number of friends who over the years have given us support, nurturing love and companionship, and so we wanted to celebrate in some way, to join them in our celebration and also to thank them for the contributions they have made to our marriage. So to do that, we decided to delay until better weather so that we could hold an outdoor event at our club here at the Greenville Country Club, which we proceeded to do, and here's how it unfolded. To begin, it involved about 100 guests, including, of course, our sons, including a nephew from England, Rich, as well as our niece, Sean, and Lucinda Ryan, our nephew's fiance from England, as well as my big sister with her family, together with groups of family from both coasts and in all generations. Then I even had the opportunity to surprise Betty with an authentic English wedding cake, something that we missed at our wedding. Then as our guests were socializing following dinner and awaiting the beginning of the dancing, our wonderfully warm spring May day turned into a rainstorm that could only be described as a cloudburst. The net effect of that was the tent under which we were being entertained broke at a seam just in front of the bandstand, creating what can only be described as a waterfall. And rather than describe what happened next, let me share with you a video taken by one of our guests that describes the net effect.
Right, so here we are in Centerville at the Greenville Country Club, and
It's a little wet.
it's a little wet. Hi, Greg. Right? So we all just evacuated the home stage up there, and we're trying to see if we can actually continue to have dinner here. Here's Scott. Hi, Scott. Here's Gagey. Hi, Gage. Here's Kate. Hi. Yep. Lucinda, right? And it's the 50th wedding anniversary for Betty and Kent. And Mother Nature is winning yet again.
Then there is one more image that I wish to share about this episode. This image will reflect the character of my wonderful wife, and what I'm about to explain, also a reflection of the character of our very special son, Jeffrey. Following this event, Jeffrey posted this image on his Facebook page, but more importantly, let me tell you what he said, and I quote, "During the party, the rain picked up quickly. The staff ran to close up the tent. I turn around and who do I see holding a ladder? My wonderful mother. At the Riegel house, if someone was up a ladder, I can assure you that my mom was at the bottom holding it." Thank you, Jeffrey. Well, all turned out well. The wonderful staff of the Greenville Country Club resolved the tent issues, cleaned up the dance floor, but moved the music inside the building so we could continue the evening with the dancing phase. Then there's one final experience from that evening that I'd like to share with you. Included within our circle of guests were representatives from our youngest generation. Here are Kate and Scott Riegel from California and Gage Seifert from Colorado. As you can imagine, these youngsters spending the weekend with a bunch of adults can not necessarily be their most exciting experience, so I made a point of asking them at the end of the weekend, was there a special treat or what was their favorite part of the weekend? They paused, looked at me and said, "We think the waterfall at the banquet was the best thing." Out of the mouths of babes. Bless you, children. Thank you. Then later that summer, we had the privilege and joy of attending the wedding of one of our lovely grandnieces, the Knox twins, Kara and Christina. Christina, through a wonderful ceremony on the shore of Lake George, became Mrs. J. Warden. Well, we concluded our summer by spending more time at the beach house, only to be interrupted in late September by yet another milestone. One of us turned 80. Wow. No one was more surprised than I. I thought only old people turned 80 like our parents and grandparents. But it did occur, and so my wonderful wife presented me with a gift of a week back in the sun in the Caribbean. Where else, of course? Galley Bay in Antigua. Now that was the good news. The bad news is, on the first day there, we were in the surf. It suddenly became rough, so I was helping Betty out, and as I got slammed by a wave and driven into an underwater coral outcropping, breaking a toe, which proceeded to swell up and turn the color of various national flags. However, it didn't stop us from having a wonderful week of champagne, time in the pool with my wife, beautiful romantic dinners on the ocean side, and observing the sunsets in Antigua. Now my only challenge is to get ready for the impending ski season, working around a broken toe, and also to get healthy again for our next Christmas celebration, which will be in Barbados. As you can see, our celebration of the Christmas season has ceased being traditional. But as we gaze upon these images from nearby Longwood, the epitome of traditional Christmas spirit, we want you to know that while our patterns may change, what has not changed is the appreciation we reflect on each year at this time for the gifts of your friendship, love, and support, and we thank you for that. We thank you for the privilege of allowing us to come into your home with this video. And on behalf of all of us, we wish you the very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and may the new year be one of safety, good health, joy, and love for each of you and your families.